Hey, happy 2025. This is the first interview I've done in a little bit because I am a busy gal. But I have with me a super awesome, fantastic guest with me, just causing all types of chaos in the wrestling world, which I love. Sammi Chaos, welcome to Kicking Back with Kat. How are you today?
I'm good. How are you? Happy New Year.
I know, right?
Yes, 2025.
Yeah, it's
Oh,
it's
yeah.
been on one already from what I've been seeing around the world. it's been
I
on one.
know. I know. There's shit
Super
already. It's
crazy, but
okay.
fingers crossed it goes better, into February and March and whatnot. And
hmm
so my first question for you is I do know you train at Battle Club Pro. And so what for you was I guess the aha for you deciding this is the place you want to train, you want to learn, you want to get better
Um, yeah, for a while I was just kind of floating around looking for places, and I had a few people recommend Fallout to me. Um, they're just super inviting, and they don't I don't want to say like we listen and we don't judge, but like they understand that like you're new and the things that we do are really hard. So it's always just very welcoming and very understanding, and everyone is there to learn, even the coaches, like we're all just constantly learning. So it's just a welcoming environment. So yeah.
at? That's good. So was wrestling something you always knew you wanted to do? Was this kind of like a hmm, let's see if I can do this, or was it just kind of gradually you kind of went towards wrestling?
Yeah, so when I was growing, like I was a fan, just like we all started as fans. And it's funny, I didn't even know that this was something that you could just go and do, or even strive to be. I'm like, oh, they're just on TV and they're wrestling. So I was drunk one night, and I said, you know what? I'm actually gonna see if I can do this. And I literally like the next day just looked up wrestling schools, and I was like, I'm gonna do this. Like, I'm tired of sitting in a cubicle at a desk, and 9 to 5. I hate it. And this has brought just so much more to my life, and I'm not awful at it. So it's just a lot of fun, and it's like I don't if I didn't get drunk that night and decide to pursue this, yeah, I don't know where I would even be right now. So I guess you could say it was kind of like an aha moment. I'm just gonna jump face first into this and just see what happens. So here we are.
That's so funny. I from what I've been able to see, even working with you, but also just from your other matches, I think you have definitely came in on a tier in a good way though. Like I like having seeing more women in the business in general, but when you see a person you know in person, you're like, oh yes, they're doing all these cool things, and it's such a good thing to see. And so, what were some of I guess the harder things of learning to train? Because personally, I took one bump. I did not like it, and I was like, this is not something I will do on a regular basis. I stick to what I do in the background. I could be
Mhm.
backstage or ring announcing.
Mhm.
That's fine. I don't need to wrestle. It's not my lane. So, what was the hardest? What was the hardest thing for you? I guess learning to kind of transition into learning how to wrestle and kind of be in ring ready.
um, so I'm a former basketball player, so I was always told, to be a tree and don't fall, and wrestling is the complete opposite. It's you fall in all the time, at all times, and um it took me a long time to just even understand, like taking, like doing a roll, or just falling freely on my back or on my face or anything like that. And I credit JL Kodo, who she trained me first on just basic things. And it was one day she literally just looked at me and she was like, wrestling hurts. Like, there's nothing in the ring that feels amazing. So it's just, if you just understand that this is going to hurt a little bit, the rest is just, it just comes. And for whatever reason, that just clicked in my mind. And I started rolling and bumping, and doing all this crazy stuff, and everything is hard. Everything is still hard. Like, um, like in-ring cardio is something that like I've never experienced before. Like I've said it before, I could run up and down a basketball court for, like 90 minutes, 2 hours, but it doesn't compare to being in a ring and just like constantly going for 8, 10, 12 minutes. It's another animal and it's wild. So, mm-mm.
Yeah, no, power to all of you guys who wrestle, because every time somebody made that joke, I was like, me? No. I
Hey,
do not have
listen, wrestling.
no, it
Listen,
really isn't. I was like, you feel this every time you bump? You feel all of this every time? No, I'm good.
it's like I'm good. Listen, you're amazing at what you do. So I couldn't do that because speaking isn't like my best, point. So it's like I feel like there's a place for almost everybody in wrestling, there's something for everybody.
Yeah, that's definitely a thing. I feel like wrestling fans just, no matter what type of wrestling you like, there's always something for somebody, even if you're like,
Yeah.
I don't really like this kind of wrestling, but somebody else might like it. So I
Hmm.
definitely do think that's one of the beauty things about wrestling. So
Yes.
what is one of the like biggest pieces of advice you were given so far in your career that you still hold very dear to you?
Probably Jessica Havoc gave me a piece of advice. Don't read the comments ever. And I still do sometimes, just because out of curiosity. But yeah, you really can't because everybody has their own opinion about every little thing, and they don't know how far you've come. They don't know where you come from, anything like that. They just see you at, face value. So I try not to read the comments. um, but you need thick skin. I think that's one of the biggest things. It's you need to be mentally tough, and it's every day you work on it and you try not to take things personally, and you just keep staying true to who you are, and you don't really listen to the people who aren't worth listening to. So, yeah. Don't read those comments. Can't. Don't do it. Don't do it.
Oh no, I had to learn that pretty quick when I first started. I had no idea what I was doing. I did a favor. She's like, just do backstage stuff. And I'm like, podcasting is very different than having to be on camera,
Right.
like the mic and everything. And so I was like, I don't know what I'm doing. And well, now I can do it with my eyes closed, but like then
Mhm.
I had to learn, like, okay, you guys,
Yeah.
I'm not
Yeah,
gonna
you
make
get
these
thrown in the
assumptions.
fire. Yeah.
Yeah, she literally
Mhm.
just was like, "Oh, do me a favor," and I'm like, "Why? Like, you don't need me.
Like,
There's so many people." That's like, "No, you'll be fine. You'll be fine." Now it worked out.
yeah,
It worked out, and I guess like in a good way.
legit.
But still, like I always tell people, I'm like, "Listen, y'all most times can't do half the stuff you guys are complaining about online." So
Yes, exactly. It's like you have to realize it's like I'm in there doing this, not you. Like you're not in there rolling around taking bumps, getting hit. Like stop it. So, mm-mm.
when thinking of Sammi Chaos, how did that come about as far as like the gimmick, but how you wanted to portray yourself to fans or even other wrestlers you will be in the ring with?
Um, so Sammy Chaos is pretty much just an extension of myself. I think being a bigger person, I just come across as a monster anyway. And growing up, I was always, heavy metal, goth, like all that fun stuff. So it kind of just comes naturally, and it's just myself turned up to like 11. And yeah, I really enjoy just playing the monster, and seeing my opponent either overcome or be defeated by me. It's almost like a superhero villain type deal. So it's a lot of fun just playing around with character and gimmick and things like that. It's all art.
I always joked if I ever wrestled, it would have been like I would definitely be want to be a heel because I feel like heels have so much more fun. Um, I just feel like they are allowed to do a little bit more. that
Yes.
like how my personality is a bit sarcastic, and so I'm like a lot of times when I watch things and I'm like I always said like the Undertaker who takes like 20 years to come out, and I'm like
Yes.
personally I wouldn't have waited this whole time. Like he was getting beat up on the ramp. If I was wrestling, I'm like, I know it's a respect thing, but personally, no, we're not doing all that. And I'm like, that would make me like heal automatically. Cause I'm like, why are you waiting for any of this? Just
Right.
beat him
Why are
up.
we waiting for this man to walk down this ramp? No, we're not doing this.
So he was like, oh, you're definitely a heel. I was like, yeah, probably. I'm a bit sarcastic and can be mean sometimes, but
We love that though. Yes.
so you have I saw your journey in 2023, and I believe that might have been the year, or it might have been 2022 when I met you and we were wrestling. But
Mhm.
I felt like last year you really kicked it up a notch. Like you were everywhere, you were doing all the things. You were just, like I said, being super badass and kind of just ripping and running all in wrestling. And so,
Mhm.
what was some of the things, I guess, from probably when you first started in wrestling to like last year, have you either grown to appreciate or something that you just was really glad you got to do, especially in particular of how well you were doing last year?
Yeah, no, last year kind of was insane. Definitely considering, where I started, it literally takes like one or two people to vouch for you. And if you just hit it out the park, opportunities kind of flow to you, which I'm like eternally grateful for anyone that has ever said like a nice thing about me or recommended me to a promotion or anything like that. That kind of got like it was a snowball effect. Um, I think what kicked it off was it was in Maine, I think. I wrestled for Matt and Muscle, and then like the promoter from Let's Wrestle was there, and like it just became this big snowball effect where I just got so much more exposure and people started learning who I was. And I mean, I put myself out there so much and just I'm constantly emailing and DMing like promoters. I'm like, please, like, book me. I'm great. But yeah, it's been a wild ride, and like 2025 is going to be even more crazy. And I'm so excited for everything that's going to come. But yeah, no, I'm grateful to be on this podcast. Like any opportunity that comes to me, I'm like, oh my god, like thank you so much. Like I'm just like grateful to be here at all times. So it's crazy.
I love that attitude. Right, like I said, I felt like you were doing good things in 2023, but I was like, oh yes, everywhere. Love to see it.
Yeah, legit. I was just like, you know what? 2024, my face, you're gonna get sick of my face because it's gonna be everywhere. And then like I'm wrestling like so many times per month, and I'm like, holy shit! Like I said it, I'm doing it. Like I love when things just come to fruition and just like I love it. Amazing.
What would you say is the hardest part about wrestling for you, even with like because you're doing more now and it's more exposure, but also you also have life outside of wrestling. We all do. What is the hardest part for you, kind of trying to balance your like in person life outside of the wrestling life?
Mm. So I love how like I said I decided to wrestle because I was tired of a 9 to 5. So now I do a 9 to 5 and I wrestle. Um, so my entire life is pretty much wrestling. Your friendships, any relationships, friendships, significant others, even family, everything gets tested because not everyone sees what you see. It's like you're chasing this dream or these goals and they might not get it, and you learn very quickly who your actual friends are and who actually values you as a person. And it's been, I've lost people that, along the way, and it's it's tough, but you keep going. And if wrestling is something actually you want to do, that you just keep your eye on it. And listen, all I do is I work and I wrestle and I sleep and I repeat the next day. So it definitely just takes over your life if that's what you want it to do, and that's what I wanted it to do. So balance it's sometimes off balance, which it's all good. I'm having fun, so that's what's important.
Yes, definitely. As somebody who had to work, like I used to work retail, I tell people if you can stay away from retail, please do.
Oof,
It'll
yes,
make you hate people. Retail will make
yes,
you hate people, and so I was so glad I was able to find a job for me that allows me to do what I like doing, but I can do it from home, and so I don't have
yes.
to be around people
That's the
and like
best.
annoyed because I really like I'm like ooh people, eh.
Yeah, yep, same.
But
I'm like, oh no, like no.
yeah. Oh, like I'm so my oldest daughter, and she like has her job, and I'm like, I'm so glad you skipped the retail part. I had to go through that unfortunately in my like younger years of like,
Yeah, same.
and like you just went straight past. I'm like, yes, you don't need to worry about
It's
people just
listen,
getting on your
I'll
nerves.
say one thing, it definitely builds character. Like working in retail or the food and oh my God, I was in food and beverage for like 10 years and like I feel like that's the hardest thing I've ever done is like work in just retail and just food and I'm like, get me the hell out of here. So, yeah, dealing with the public is character building.
I feel like we're semi prepared as because wrestling fans sometimes like we love them. Don't get me wrong because we're also wrestling fans, but like sometimes
Yeah.
some of them do a lot. Sometimes they do a lot, and I feel like
Yes.
retail is like sometimes that turned up with like people. It's just like,
Yes.
can we not be this ridiculous today? Like one day
Don't
maybe
do this
that's
to
not
me today, please. Yes.
So you've had a few titles. You've tagged with people. You've had triple threat matches, solo matches. What are some of your, I guess, memorable matches you've had so far in your career?
I really loved teaming with Caitlin Marie, Survival of the Sickest. That's us. But I loved our match with the King Bees at Jobber Slam this past August, I think it was. Um, that's like one of my favorite. I love teaming with Caitlin. We have so much fun, and the King Bees were amazing. So that's always fun. I really loved um, my intergender match with Tyree Taylor at Focus Pro. We had a lot of fun. I think that was the first time I've like been just picked up and I get to now feel what it feels like to just get slammed on the mat. I'm like, oh, okay, so this is what I've been doing to people. Got it. That's my bad. But yeah, I it's there's so many. But anytime I get to team with Caitlin, like we just have so much fun together and we try to make it fun for everybody, whether, we're winning or losing. So
No, you guys definitely have a really good chemistry. Whenever I got to interview you two together, so it's been like really fun. In a dynamic. So that's always that's cool. I like
hmm
that. Is there anybody you want to wrestle or want to tag with or both that you haven't, but it's like a dream person to tag with or to wrestle or just hopefully a goal on your bucket list?
Yeah, I mean, I have a whole list of people that I want to wrestle, hopefully this year. But Megan Bain is at the top of the list to wrestle. I want to wrestle Masha. I'd love to wrestle and tag with Gabby Forza, the Nomi. She just looks like a lot of fun. But yeah, I have like a whole list. Like I want to wrestle Max the Impaler, NWA, Jordan Grace, all the fun people. Athena, like Athena's killing it in stardom. And I'm just like, oh my God, like I love the way she kills people. And I'm like, I want to like go to battle with you. So yeah, there's a list. Hopefully I get to check a few of them off this year. So
Yes, fingers crossed. I would love to see
yes,
you and Max. Max is
yes.
great.
Oh my God. Yes, yes.
Like definitely one of my favorite wrestlers, so that'd be great.
hmm
Put it into the universe.
Yeah,
Putting it out
exactly. Everything, everything.
there. Put it into the universe.
Hey, it works. Don't underestimate it.
Oh no, I'm with you on that. I definitely feel like sometimes you say certain things, you're like, see,
Yes.
it's
Yeah.
here.
And then it happens and you're like, "What?" I just said that yesterday. Like, yeah, it's wild.
Is what do you do? I know you said you only work and wrestle, but is there anything
Mhm.
you do? I feel like for a lot of us, at least during the quarantine period, which is kind of how the wrestling stuff for me started, which was really weird. Everybody else was like going crazy. I mean, I was too, but like I had wrestling, and it kind of just
Mhm.
to all this other stuff. And so, what is something you do when it's just kind of to center yourself or to kind of give yourself some self care time? Because unfortunately, like we need social media, but sometimes social media can be a lot. And
Yes.
then the world itself could be a lot, and your own life could be a lot sometimes. And so, what is something you do to kind of just like recharge or just kind of take a minute to step away from
I love putting my phone on do not disturb. Um, and I journal a lot. I like making, I'm like a big list person, so I like making, like whether it's goals or, short term, long term, things like that. I love just blasting music and just like tuning everything else out. But yeah, anytime, like I'm so boring. Anytime I get to do like absolutely nothing, love, love that. Because I feel like I'm just always, constantly engaged in doing things. And it's like, oh, I get to sit and just like blast music in my headphones and just like not have to talk or like pay attention to anybody. It's just, oh my God, amazing. I feel so old too when I say that because I'm just like, oh my God, because my younger self will be like, "What the hell? Like, no, we're gonna go out and we're gonna, party and drink and just like get away from everything." And I'm like, I'm gonna sit in my house that I pay for and like just center myself. So yeah, I've become a big homebody in my older age. So
now I'm kind of with you on that one. It is not often I get
mhm.
a completely moment of just nothing. I have to do nothing as a mom, and so like I think
Mhm.
during the like right before New Year's, my mom took them, and I was like, oh thank God, because
Oh.
now I'm not doing anything. I'm not
Yes.
doing anything. So I like took. I was like, I'm not doing no projects. I'm not doing no work. I'm nothing. I'm
Yes.
gonna just sit here and eat food and watch TV and just
I love it.
everything. So
Exactly. I get to tune everything out and it's like it's borderline, just dissociating, but like it's underrated. Dissociating is underrated.
agree.
So like, oh my God.
You mentioned you was a metal, goth girl. My
Mhm.
oldest daughter is also in, she is in a band and stuff, and so she's been
Oh, that's
trying to like,
awesome.
yeah, it worked out well because when she first asked me for a bass, I was like, are you gonna actually learn or are you
Right.
BSing me? But she
Right.
actually learned it, like went to YouTube and learned in 2 weeks, and I was like,
Yes.
oh, you actually was serious. So I can't say
Right.
anything until she been trying to like introduce me to like some bands that I might not know because it's more like recent than
Yeah.
I know it's like she likes Slipknot, and I'm like, yeah, well, I know Slipknot. That's like my time.
We
So
know that
like
one.
I know Slipknot. And so who are some of your favorite bands? Like bands that even if it's like from like way before or even
Yeah.
recently, who are like some of your like these are my bands I have to listen to.
Yeah, it's funny because I don't follow a lot of like new stuff, which again I feel like an old hag saying that. But yeah, I was super into like Metallica and Black Sabbath, Ozzy, like Rob Zombie, Black Label Society, even like going towards more punk rock, like Pennywise and um yeah, I don't it's all like older things because I'm a 90s, early 2000s baby. So, um, yeah, like newer stuff, some of it I'm like, all right, cool. But I'm gonna go back to, my old like Megadeth stuff, Slayer, Slipknot, things like that. So I'm super jealous that your daughter's in a band because my entire middle school, high school career, I kept begging my friends to just start a band with me, and everyone's super lame. So they didn't want to. So here I am just with a guitar, like, okay, cool. But that's so awesome. Oh my God. Yes.
Yeah, no, when she said it, I was like, girl, it was movie because she sometimes you know, kids do things and they'd be like, just want you to do
Yeah.
buy something. So I was like, all right, I'll buy you the base. But then I was like, wait a minute, you actually know how to play. This is crazy. And so she was like, oh, I'm going to band pride. I was like, what band? Like, when, how did this happen? Didn't tell me until the
Yeah.
day of. So
What?
we're heading to like Long Island, and she's like, oh, we're meeting band people. So I was like, now I have to go with you because I don't know if these are real people. So I'm like, what if it's like some creep? So now I'm sitting here like mom mode. Like, okay, now I want you to be,
Right.
do well, but also like, how did you just meet these people online? But apparently they're teenagers her age. I think they were like a year or two difference, and they were
Yeah.
actually really good. And I was like, oh, you guys actually can play. And I was like, this is crazy. So when she performed the first time, like last year, I was sobbing. I was like, oh my god, you can like you're actually performing. Me, I wanted to sing before.
Right.
But
Ah,
stage, like for me, it was stage like nerves. I'm like, oh, I can't do this in front of people. But she like
yeah.
was so humble. I'm like, I wish
That's
I had this much level of
amazing.
just confidence at your age. I definitely
Yeah,
did
no.
not.
Oh my gosh, I would have sobbed too. I was like, oh my God.
Yeah, I felt like I was embarrassing her, but she's like, "No, it's fine." I was like, "Listen, I'm a crier. I cry very
It's your
easily."
job
But
though.
I was like, "You like this is awesome. I thought she this is so cool, and she
Yeah.
liked all of this. Like we did Slipknot. We went in the summer to see Slipknot, and my friend took us. We went to Baltimore, crazy people, to see Slipknot,
Wow.
and we took the day
Holy.
trip and we went, and it was really cool. And I was so happy that she was happy because that was her first like
Yeah.
at concert, and she was like, "Oh my god, thank you so much." I'm like, yeah, "This is all stuff, like me and my friend, this is all stuff." But she liked it, and she likes a lot of that, like Black Sabbath and Metallica. Like she can play
Yeah.
Master of Puppets, and I was like, a lot of people can't play that, but she can. And so for me, I'm like, girl, you have no idea how like cool you are to me because I'm like,
Yeah, for real. She is cool. Oh my God.
I like when I finished this interview, I'm probably like, oh, so my friend, she does look, she likes this. She probably get really excited. She always says I
I
mention
need
bands. She
a
like,
I need a band t-shirt. If they have merch, like I need a band t-shirt
I'm
ASAP.
calling her
That's
to do better
amazing.
band stuff because I'm
Yes.
like, listen, me, this is maybe wrestling part of me, and I'm always like branding. I'm always in my head
Is
like,
it
you need
yes.
t-shirts, you need
We
social
need a
media,
logo, graphics, we need
yeah.
merch. Yes,
Although I'm
that's
sorry,
where
that's the
you make
wrestling
your
part of me. It's
money.
like it's hard to turn that off.
Yeah. Well, listen, it's parallels too though, because it's kind of the same thing. It's like that's where you're gonna make your money. Sell your merch. Like set up a merch table at a show and like that's
And
it.
I was telling her, I was like, get
I
your
don't
merch.
even I don't even know the band and I'm like, I want a band t-shirt. Take my money. Like, what? It's
She'd be
amazing.
very happy to hear that. She like so
Yes.
it's something I'm actually very happy because I was like, at least one of you guys got into the music I was too afraid to do. So it's like
Yeah. That's another reason too why like I started wrestling late and it's predominantly because, I spent a lot of my life just being afraid of, doing anything that was out of the norm. But I'm slowly still learning that you just got to do it. Like what's the worst that's going to happen? Just do it. Like whatever you want to do and it's never too late, I'm finding out because I'm always like, oh, I can't do that. I'm this age or I can't do that. That's not like what you should be doing. And it's like, F all that. Just do it. Like, dive head first, be thrown into the fire and just do it. Like, it's amazing.
yeah, no, I'm always any like I said, that's why I said anybody who wrestle, even if they started late, I'm like, this is cool because I like watched this as a kid. I was like obsessed
Yes.
with the party, obsessed. It was bad. Um, like
Yes.
just to feel like to be there. Like I'm like now I'm a mom and my kids now know who this is, and it's just like I'm glad you guys kind of have a little bit less. I was always worried, not so much about people saying things. It was just I was always just so shy and like, oh,
Yes.
what if I do it wrong? And I think it was more of a me thing. Like if I do this wrong,
Yeah.
I'm
Right.
gonna be my
Yeah.
biggest critic if I'm doing it wrong, and not being so much
Yes.
somebody else. And so I just think it's always like I feel like wrestling does give us somewhat of a space to kind of just fly a bit.
Yeah, a little bit. And it's like I'm also the type of person, and there's a lot of people like this too. It's like if I'm not immediately really good at something, what is wrong with me? Like I'm never gonna be good at it. Oh, it's the first time I'm trying this and I'm making mistakes. I'm trash. Like it's just such a silly mindset that I have to remind myself that that's just insane. That you just get. Sometimes it takes like the 500th try to get it. It's like, oh, all right. God, I love that.
Yeah, no, I'm with you. I'm definitely when, like I said, when I first started the interviews, and I think I messed up a name, and it's because sometimes I have to hear it, like to make sure I'm saying it right, and I'm like, oh my god, and then I had to go whole thing, and it's like it's fine. I was like, I know, but like in my head, I messed up. Never call me again. But it actually again
Right.
worked out. I was like,
It's like,
it's
don't
fine. I
use
didn't need to be
me,
here
don't.
anyway. I didn't need to be here anyway. It's fine. And then it was like now, like I can do it with my eyes closed, and I'm like, yeah, now
Yeah.
considering I actually hate talking and hate being on camera, and yet that's literally what I do all
Which
the
is
time now.
wild.
And I'm like, no, it's like I say, hate being on camera. I didn't like. I'll be backstage. You don't need to hear me, see me at all. I'm like, now I have to be on camera for a good
Yes.
chunk of what I do. And so I'm like, yeah, that's funny how that turned around. The universe has funny
Right.
ways of like, here you go. Um, so you mentioned you played basketball, so that's super cool. I actually not,
Yeah.
I'm not a sports person at all. My daughter actually plays basketball too, which is so weird. I'm like, listen, so she's gonna be so happy. She's gonna like, oh my god, somebody who
It's
does things.
amazing.
Yeah, she's short. I'm short. She's short. She's 5'2", so she's point guard. What was
Okay.
your position? How was that? I guess like playing basketball. How long have you been doing that too? I guess before
Um, I played basketball from like first grade up until college.
wrestling.
But I come from like a big basketball family. Like everyone on
Okay.
my dad's side would play basketball. We watched basketball all the time. In middle school, high school, I was a center. So I was the big man on the court. And then once you get to college, you realize that there's a lot more people in the world that are bigger than you. And I became like a not a shooting guard, but like a forward. And I was like, oh my gosh, there's bigger women than me out there. That's crazy. Like what the hell? But yeah, no, I love basketball. Anytime like when it's not, snowing outside, I love just going and shooting around and seeing if I can still do it. And it's just a lot of fun. I tried like doing a suicide for the first time since college, and I'm never doing that again. But um yeah, I always have a basketball in my trunk just like in case I'm driving around and like, oh, there's a court, let's play. Like so, yeah, we love
Spoken
it.
like a true sports
That's it. That's it.
a true sports person. That's the
Yes.
ball in my car. That's cool.
Yeah.
Um, so what's your favorite basketball team? Now I'm curious. What is your favorite team? Like, are you a New York team, or I know Jersey had the Nets at some point, and now they're in Brooklyn.
We
But
don't we don't talk about the Nets. But so it's incredibly hard to be a Knicks fan. I am a Knicks fan, but growing up, we were a big Boston Celtics family because my dad loved the Celtics, so we just gravitated towards them. But yeah, we're a big Knicks. We're a Knicks family. It's incredibly difficult, incredibly difficult to be a Knicks fan, but we stick with them. So,
yeah, I was telling my son because he's a big basketball fan, and I was like,
mhm.
listen, I was like, the one thing New Yorkers know has had to do with certain teams who just piss you off. like, why are you doing this? And I'm like, the Knicks is
Yeah.
definitely one of those teams that's like, he's like, but they're good now. I was like, listen, you don't know what I know, like 90s
Yeah.
Knicks, early 2000s Knicks, where they were doing nonsense, and you're like, but
Yeah.
why? Yeah, it's he has no idea. I was like, dude, listen, it's fine. But I
Just
did
like,
like
yeah,
the
watch
Celtics that
old
had a lot of
basketball. Jeez.
yeah, I was like a lot of my friends were bad. I used to like the Celtics, but I liked Ray Allen. I thought he was a really good shooter.
Oh
And I'm like,
yeah. Oh my
so
gosh.
I'm like, for me, I was like, I don't really care too much about what's going on, but I'm like, he's cool until there's like, how could you? He's from Boston. I'm like, so yeah, know
He's
who
really
I am as a
good.
person. I'm a petty person, and I don't like I'm New York all day. I always go like New York, New York, New York. But it's
Hmm.
also like, listen, if it makes you guys mad, I'm probably gonna purposely like, all right.
Yeah. See, that's because
As
you're
long
a
as
heel. It's because you're
I
a
mean, I
heel.
felt like
That's what
now I'm
that
gonna be
is.
extra petty about this, and so a few of my friends when they had like the baseball finals with the Yankees, and I was like, the Yankees not winning. They're like, how could you say that? You're from New York, and I'm like, but I'm telling you, they're not winning.
They're not
And
gonna
then
do
my friend was
it.
upset with me for like 2 weeks. He's like, I can't talk to you for like 2 weeks because you were right, and I was like, but I did tell you.
I did say it, so
So yeah, see, it's the heel. I feel like I want to be
yes,
nice, but I'm definitely a heel.
you're a
Um,
natural heel. Natural.
we're gonna do a quick speed round of questions,
All right.
and you tell me
Cool.
the first thing that pops up in your head. All right. Are you a morning bird or night owl?
Oh, a night owl.
Last song on repeat.
Escapism by Ray, I think his name is. Yeah.
Okay.
Mm.
Last show you binge watch.
Schitt's Creek.
Ah, nice. I haven't seen
Yeah.
that forever. Oh my god.
Yeah. Yeah. That's my jam.
Favorite movie of all
Oh
time.
my God. That is such a. I'm a big movie person, so oh my God. Okay. I'm gonna say Gladiator because I once watched it like 10 times in one day.
Oh
Don't
man.
ask.
Oh, you know what? I can't because that's literally me with horror movies though, and I'm a big movie person too, but I love horror movies, and so
Yes.
like people was like you can just watch The Conjuring regular. I was like, yeah, like
Yeah. Yeah. On a Tuesday afternoon. Don't
really?
worry about it.
Like I love The Conjuring. One of my top horror movies of all time, and so I can't even complain. I've definitely watched the movie like 4 times in the same day.
Hmm.
For no reason. It's just like yeah, I'm gonna put it back on. So I can't even say anything about that. Your favorite, like the one snack you always have to have.
Grapes. Red grapes.
Oh yes, they're definitely better. Agreed.
Superior.
Favorite song of all time.
What is this? That's crazy. Favorite song of all time? Oh, I'm going to say One by Metallica.
Okay, oh yeah, that's a solid choice. Definitely. If you could have any superpower, what would it be and why?
Oh, I'd like to read people's minds.
So like Professor X, you know.
Because I can't read the comments, but I'll read your minds. I know how you really feel.
If you were stuck on an island and you could only bring 3 things, what would those 3 things be and why?
um, a journal with a pen attached, so that's one. Um, a knife, like a machete. Oh my goodness. And duct tape.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, we're not getting off the island. So people say cell phone, you're not getting off that island. Like, stop it.
No, that's true. I feel like that's tape. I feel like where was it? Was it Next and Afraid? I feel like I might have watched where the guy was like
Yes.
kept tape or everything. I I think that's what it was. Like, I was like he and I mean to be fair, it worked. To be fair, it worked.
Come
So
on.
like you know what?
Yes.
If you can kind of play around with something, listen, I
Come
would do
on.
that personally because being like naked in like some random places like whoa.
Yeah, no, I don't know how people are on that show. I'm like, please, please.
Yeah, I power to them. I personally can't
Oof,
just be like all willy nilly out, but it's like not just that.
no,
It's like it's cold, and I don't like being cold, or if it gets really
no.
hot, I don't like being hot either. And so it's like, no, I can't do the extremes.
I
Like
can't do extremes. I
I
can't
would go
do
home
it.
within like the next hour. I'm like, all right, guys, it's been fun, but I'm going.
If I am not
All right.
comfortable at all times, there's a problem.
So it's just not gonna work for me. I can't do the woods. I can't do the desert. I can't do that. So
No,
definitely not my cup of tea. But
nope, not for me.
if you could have a conversation with anybody, dead or alive, who would that be?
I'm a big history person, so I'm gonna say Winston Churchill.
Okay. I
Hmm.
didn't expect that, but
I
I
know,
do.
I know.
I do like that you're a history person. That used to be one of
Yes,
my favorite subjects in school. I loved history.
I love
That and music.
history. Yes.
So, do you watch like Jeopardy and you're like on it when they say the history questions?
Oh God, no. I'm
Oh.
I can, because I'm terrible at Jeopardy. Because I'm like, what? What does that even mean? But like history, like documentaries, history movies. Like I loved history class. but I'm like a big Winston Churchill person. I watch The Crown and like Winston Churchill. I'm like, oh my God, this is awesome because I'm a dork. So yes.
I think my mom said she. I think I watched a few of The Crown, but I couldn't like. I'm funny about like I can watch your history like if it's a drama movie I can watch it.
Yeah.
I feel like and I loved history class, but I can't really sit through too much like shows about it too much. I'm like, all right, well, okay, guys,
You got to be like dialed in.
yeah, I really got to be like, okay, let me find out what happened. But like my mom also likes like that kind of stuff, but she also
Yes.
loves therapy. I always joke like, yeah, not me.
There you go.
It's really gonna be smart, but also, and I feel like I'm smart, but it's like you also gotta know sometimes what's the most random information. And I'm like, why would people just know this information for no
Yeah,
reason?
like why do you know that? I don't understand.
It's just like the most random pieces they actually are like something you might have heard 20 years ago, and it's like
Yeah, in passing, and I'm like, what are you talking about? What?
But that's definitely not my thing either. So
No.
ours is curious. You say you like history. That's cool.
I'm not good at like trivia. I'm like, I don't know.
I feel like some trivia I'm pretty okay with. I feel like.
Yeah,
And
ask
some
me
of them
Schitt's Creek trivia, not not history trivia. God.
you mentioned you had a guitar. I don't know if that like you have it now or you had it before. Was there a song you knew how to play on that guitar?
Yes, I still have two guitars. I don't play that much anymore, but yeah, I used to do like what your daughter does. I used to literally just go on Google and look up like guitar tabs and like I taught myself how to play guitar. So I used to know how to play Stairway to Heaven by Led Zeppelin on guitar, and I can now play like the Lion King theme song on guitar. But so random. Um but yeah, no, I still have them. They're looking at me right now and they're like, "What are we doing?" Because I haven't picked them up in like so long. But yeah, yeah.
That's
At a
cool.
time, I was a rock star. I used to be a rock star.
I think you still are a rock star. Truly, I feel like
Listen, it's
you have to
just
work.
a different facet. It's a little different.
What is one piece of advice you would give to anybody who wanted to get into wrestling and starting out for the first time?
Don't quit just because it gets hard. Have thick skin. Like I wish someone stressed how like important that was to me. You have to be just mentally tough and just ignore what people say and just listen to whoever's coaching you and just don't quit. Don't quit because you had a bad day. Because tomorrow, listen, could be good.
To be fair, I did quit, but that's
That's not, yeah, you
but
quit, but you you found a different area that better suits you.
I mean, let me be. It's not like I was trying to wrestle. I actually never wanted to. Somebody's like, just see how it feels. Like you're
You
tiny, you might
see?
do something. And I was like, okay, fine, or whatever. And then I was like, oh, why did you guys like lie? This is so not cool. And
Why'd
so
you
that was it.
lie?
I was like, I'm like, no, this is why I'm backstage because this is not me at all. But so I
Yes.
like I said, I always think it's cool anybody who wants to actually train and wrestle. And I've heard
Yeah.
stories about like how it can be very grueling for some people
Yes.
and hard for some people, and it takes some time to get it. But again, I'm
Yeah,
always
it's
very
if you love it and if it's what you want to be doing, um, it I won't say it gets easier because it doesn't. Everything is difficult, but you get more accustomed to it and you just we're all constantly learning. So what you don't know today, you'll know tomorrow. So don't quit if it's what you want to do. Just keep going. That's it.
yes, I love that advice. Just don't like yeah, just don't quit. I can't like I said
Yeah. Don't
in my
quit for
regard it was a little
yeah.
different, but yes, do not quit.
But you didn't want to do it, so it's different. It's different.
Yes, they was like, no, it'd be fine, Katrina. And I was like, oh, you guys totally lied to me.
You lied to me.
And I was always it's like nothing. And I'm like, this is definitely not nothing if I can feel it through my whole body when I land
Right.
on the mat. And so I'm like, oh, yeah, no, that's fine. Um, tell everybody what you got going on, what shows you will be at coming up, and where they can find and follow you.
Yeah, on X And Instagram, it's at Real Sammi Chaos. Please follow me, stalk me, like all of my things. Tomorrow I'm gonna be in Connecticut at Fight Life. Um, what else am I doing? Saturday I'm gonna be at Bell to Bell. I'm gonna be at PPW. But yeah, just follow me. I always have my schedule up. I always have my match graphics up there, and yeah, stalk my pages, please. Thank you.
Yeah, it's stalking in a good way though,
Yes,
guys.
stalk me. Yes.
Sometimes it Russian parents is very clear. In a good way, stalking as in like don't be weird, but also
Yeah,
follow and do all the shows you
right.
possibly do. But thank you so much, Sammy, for coming on. I'm
Yeah.
so glad we got to do this. It's fun.
Yes, I know. I know.
Yeah, it was just craziness, guys, to get this stuff.
Yeah.
to
You
get
don't
us
know
to get
what we
both.
had to do to be here today.
It's craziness to get us both on. It was rough, but we did
It
it.
was
We
rough,
had
but we got here. We got it done.
and I'm so glad for you coming on. Thank you so much for taking the time to
Yes.
talk and chat with me.
Thanks for having me. This was super fun.
Yes, it was. Guys, I will have all the links in the comments, so please make sure to follow along. And if you are in any of the areas where she is wrestling, please go and support. Be part of the chaos. Be part of us.
Yes. Buy my merch. Support
Yes,
me.
yes, definitely. I always say if you can support merch wise, please do. That's something
Yes.
that goes
Buy
directly
a
to wrestlers.
sticker.
It goes directly to the wrestlers. And
Yes.
so definitely, do that. And again, thank you so much, Sammy. And
Thank
until
you.
the next time, we will catch you later. Bye, guys.
Bye.